Do you use an aftershave, Paul? What one do you use?
I don't use Sauvage, I don't use Million, I don't use Vindictus, I don't use the Eros, but I use Lapidus. Pour Homme.
Hi guys, after today's interview coming up with Omar from School of Scent, I decided Mr. Smelly needs to be on TikTok. All the kids are doing it. As far as I'm concerned, it's a puerile, vapid medium with silly, ridiculous videos, and that is exactly where I think I could thrive. So please follow the link in the description, and it's in a comment too, to follow me, Mr. Smelly 1977 fragrance reviews on TikTok. A new era is beginning. Daily short clips of fragrance silliness. Follow. Do it now. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the show. So today it's another episode of my most loved fragrances, my regular series where I've got many fragrance-related people and even some not so fragrance-related ones on the channel to talk about their 5 most loved or cherished fragrances, ones that have meant the most to them, maybe in their whole life or their fragrant journey. And in the process of doing that, we get to find out a little bit more about the person themselves. And today we have a great guest. It's Omar from the School of Scent channel. Hello.
Hi, Dan. Thank you for having me.
It's very much a pleasure to have you on the show. Welcome aboard, and looking forward to finding out a bit more about you. Just to introduce any viewers who may not know of your channel yet, School of Scent, a UK-based YouTube channel. You're up in Swansea, aren't you?
Yeah, I move around a lot, but I'm currently in Swansea, yeah.
Currently in Swansea, and great channel. I think you've got over 30,000 subscribers now.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Well done. And yeah, growing fast. And you just started out, I think, March of last year. So about 18 months. And yeah, I'm going to link the channel down there. A lot of really good videos. As I was saying before we came on air, I think you're tapping into some of the stuff people really want to see, which is great. I copied one of your titles today already. And yeah, you've even encouraged me that I need to get out there with the microphone and interview the public again. Although I'm afraid most of the ones I did when I tried that in my early days, I relied on Dutch courage, which could be a bad idea. Anyway, that's enough about that. Let's get into it, Omar. So we're going to ask you for your 5 favorite fragrances. No particular rules, and I'll probably butt in and get a little bit more information about you in general as we do it. So fire away. What's your first pick, please?
So I've brought my most cherished fragrances, my 5 most cherished throughout my life that have the most meaning to me and represent big milestones. So this kind of is a representation of the entire brand and line. It's a Hugo Boss bottled, because this was basically my first personal cologne growing up, which was about when I was 12, really. Because I'm from an Arab background, and if you know anything about Arab families, the parents always love a good deal, and on the duty free in the department stores, what was always on offer was Hugo Boss. So they always get 2 for 1, and I'd always get the second bottle of Hugo Boss. And over the years, yeah, I would wear that fragrance. I wore the original mainly. I have the Boss Bottled Intense here, which I think is discontinued now, which is very sad. But yeah, this just represents my early teen years. At the time, I thought, oh, this is probably as nice as fragrances get. I didn't realize there's like a whole hobby and thing going into it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just represents my early teens, and I love Hugo Boss still to this day.
Brilliant. Okay, it's a real perennial sort of. A lot of people say this. People are into the frag style. Everyone's owned a bottle of this at one time in their life. I actually haven't, but a lot of people have at one time in their life. And yeah, they brought out to describe it, it's kind of fresh but a little bit sweet at once. Is it kind of an apple pie thing in there?
Yeah. People call it an apple pie, but it makes it sound very sweet. But it is ultimately a fresh fragrance with fruity, woody, musky nuances. And I think it was so successful because it's got a sexy bit of sweetness, kind of like Invictus, but both this and Invictus are ultimately fresh, aren't they? And I think it's a nice balance is what made it so popular and very easily recognizable.
Yeah, it's been a huge favourite for their line for many years, and I think the intense one, from my limited understanding, was very similar in smell, but as it says on the tin, just a bit stronger than the old version. Is that right?
They amped up the vanilla a tiny bit,
Uh-huh.
and it actually performs. It's more of an 8-hour performer instead of a 4-hour performer, which it's good.
All right, nice one. I must, maybe I should add that to the collection. It's just kind of passed me by, that one, but Boss Bottled and/or Intense, good pick. What they've discontinued just the Intense version, have they?
Yeah, I think so. Well, I saw it in the comments. I don't just take things as they are. You obviously can't always trust what you read online in the fragrance community.
No.
But having a look, if you try and find it online, it's in the UK at least, you can't. It's getting harder to find.
All right. Well, let's see if that turns out to be the case. That's a shame. Okay, great place to start. And that was going back to your sort of teenage years, was it?
Yeah.
Okay, right. What's next then, please?
So that was my early teen years, and then when I got into university, I was 18. So this is my later teen years. I got my own fragrances. I don't own it anymore, but back in the day, I went to the department store and I liked the way the bottle looked. And it was actually a Mont Blanc Emblem. I'm not sure if you know that fragrance.
Yeah, I never owned it, but yeah, I know the one. Yeah, I'll put a little pic on the screen now. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the original Emblem. I thought, I smell like the sexiest guy ever. I thought that was the best fragrance in the world. And I think it is still a nice fragrance, but I thought, fragrances just don't perform that well in general. I didn't realize, because that fragrance lasted about 4 hours, and I thought, that's how fragrances are. It's kind of it's a scent that holds a lot of memories with it, basically, because I used it for several years through university, medical school, all that.
Aha. Okay, and just very briefly, how would you describe the smell of that one?
I haven't smelled it in years, but it's basically a spicy aromatic. So it's spicy but fresh, easy to wear. I feel like it's kind of like Mont Blanc's approach to Spicebomb in their own way. I think it's a very easy to like scent, but its only main weakness is the performance.
Okay, a lot of Mont Blanc ones can be got without spending mega bucks, and none of them have ever really blown me away. But there's an awful lot that I find enjoyable and quite nice, and I think they've got some okay stuff out there for great prices.
I think you summed up Mont Blanc perfectly. It's cheap and it's quite nice. Guess it's that if you're a beginner.
I think their pens are slightly more luxurious than the fragrances, but they're still good. Yeah. So just about you then. Medical school. So that's what you studied, was it?
Yes, I went through 6 years of medical school in London.
Right, serious stuff. Okay, good for you. And are you still sort of active in that area now, if I'm allowed to ask?
Yeah. I took a break from medicine for a bit, but I'm now. So that's why I'm back in Swansea now and working in A&D at the moment.
Oh, wow. Okay, brilliant. Well, good for you, and thanks for all the great work that you do under no doubt quite a lot of pressure. I had a little visit there myself after managing to slip in the bath and dislocate a shoulder. So I'm very grateful for the good work that people do there. And the guy there, they made me inhale something from a kazoo, which I wish I could buy that. What's it called?
Entonox. It's
wow, man.
Yeah.
If I could buy that in Boots.
It makes you feel great. I imagine.
Kick your weekend off with a bang. But yeah, the guy was a genius because he just did this and it was fixed. So, thank you for the great stuff you guys do. Now, on a more fragrant related note, I always have to ask, and I've left it a little bit late with you. At what point did you realize that you were sort of more than averagely interested in fragrances?
It was probably, again, in my teen years, at some point in the middle of them, that whenever I'd go visit family in Egypt, it's always when I went to the Middle East. I went to Egypt or Dubai. A lot of people will appreciate Middle Eastern people love their fragrances, especially their orientals, heavy fragrances, ouds. And I just love how rich fragrances can smell. I think I got that from my mum. She's always loved her expensive niche fragrances also. And I've yeah, I think I've always appreciated them more than than a lot of people, anyways. And yeah, but I never actually started wearing them myself at that point. I just appreciated them. I realized, oh wow, you can get some really nice smells out there.
Yeah. Okay, fine. So what, and then the next thing that kind of leads me to then is, at what point did you sort of graduate to this point where you were really maybe a collector and then actually think, oh, I'll do a YouTube channel? Did that happen just a little bit before you started YouTube, or was it a bit more gradual?
Well, I got into the YouTube, so I started collecting maybe 5, 6 fragrances, maybe just before I got into the community.
Mm-hmm.
But I got into the community, well, through Jeremy. Maybe
same here.
Yeah, a lot of us did. It was great. I was obsessed with his videos. I would wait for every single day, wait for them. This is probably around early 2018, I think. I started realizing there's a fragrance community, and I saw there was other reviewers. There's someone called Demi Rawling. I was like, what? There's female reviewers who review men's fragrances? I was like, that sounds so strange. How does that make sense? But then I was obsessed with her videos, obsessed with everyone else. Like, I started seeing I saw your channel at one point as well. You definitely also inspired me. I like your very much British style. You and Chris definitely putting the UK on the map.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, so yes, it's relatively recent that it sort of escalated to that point, which is, it happens to a lot of us. I wasn't into it for that long before I started to do the YouTube channel, and I never claimed, therefore I never claimed to be a massive expert. But that's the point of YouTube. We share our passion. We don't necessarily have to have a degree in fragrance or whatever, So that's the beauty of it, of this medium that we've got. So okay, lovely, great to hear. And had you done anything else? I will get back to your list in a minute, but I just wondered, had you done anything else to do with making videos, or had any other YouTube channel before? Because you seem to you're pretty polished on camera, so suggests did you have a background in that area?
No, not at all.
That's answered that. Okay, well,
no.
Fair enough. Okay.
So if you watch my first few videos, you'll notice the editing was rubbish. But that was because I was learning. I'm always learning, but back then I basically watched a course on Skillshare. I have a good friend of mine who is a big YouTuber. His name is Ali Abdal. He's got a few million subscribers, and he made a course on Skillshare about basically how to edit YouTube videos as someone who's not from that kind of background. Okay. And basically, I just learned as I went along, and I just told myself, every video improve one small thing, and it just hoped that it would show over time.
Yeah. And that's the way to do it. Yeah, I did actually, because I try and have a look at the person before I interview them a little bit. So I always click on the first video, but as compared to my first video, it was pretty damn good actually. Cause my first one, it was the camera quality is so bad, and the sound and all the ums and ahs. But I just leave them up, and it doesn't matter. That's the journey. That's what it's all about.
It's awesome. Everyone needs to for their first video, but you got to see the before and after to see where you started from.
Exactly. Yeah, you just got to press record, and that's when you start to get better. You can't get better unless you put them up, really. Okay, brilliant. Good to find out about that. Now I better get back to the subject in hand. So I think did we have just 2 so far? So number 3, please.
So number 3. So it's kind of like the story is, I started off in my early teens, later teens, and then as 2018 approached, and I discovered Jeremy. I started seeing his recommendations. I think I saw one of his most popular videos in his channel was like the compliment gods or something like that. Where you see his face up on the thumbnail and is very close to the screen, and like, whoa, there's a fragrance niche YouTube channel. It's so cool. And he said in that video his number 1 most complimented. This is one he doesn't like that much, but the most complimented was Chanel's Allure Homme Extreme. This fragrance right here.
Yeah.
So which holds a special place in my heart, because this is when I started working. I got into community, and I started, getting more. I started realizing actually, wow, you can get very high quality scents. And when I smelled this in the store, I was thinking like, wow, I'm gonna get so many compliments of this. I definitely believe Jeremy, and I didn't get any. I didn't get a single one. Every day I thought I smell so nice of this. Why am I not getting? And I varied up the number of sprays and where I sprayed it, Jeremy's technique, and other fragrances. I got Sauvage got me compliments straight away, but that fragrance just never got me a single one for like 4 months straight. I wore it every day for like 4 months.
Wow. I remember that. Yeah, he used to really sort of talk about that one quite often as like having this amazing effect on people. But I really wanted to get it because I'd had Allure Sport, the original one, not the Extreme. And I before I was really into frags, I wore that for many years, and I did. Girls really did like that because it's just it's a very likable smell, and obviously with Chanel, it's good quality stuff too. But I could never quite get excited by the smell of that one that much. But I nearly got there because Jeremy was so adamant that it was so good. But if you didn't get compliments, maybe I didn't miss too much. And I guess we should describe the smell a bit. So how would you describe that one?
So powdery Mandarin Tonka, basically.
That's pretty good.
It's like fresh and sporty, but in a sweet way, making it more suitable for the colder seasons in a way. It's like the colder cousin of the original Allure Sport in a way.
Yeah. Okay, popular one, but don't believe the hype necessarily about the compliment.
I think it's a great fragrance. I think maybe there's some people compliment, but I'm the same as you. The original Allure Sport, I always say on my channel, that first day I wore that, compliments nonstop, and it never stops with that fragrance.
Yeah, people really like that one a lot, and it's to me as a big frag head now, and having worn it for a long time, I'm a bit. It wouldn't be fun to buy it again and wear it, but it did a great job for me in life for many years. So I would say that is, if you've just got into fragrances and you haven't really got hardly any, you do a lot worse than to pick that one up. All right, nice one. Yeah, good selections so far.
But this is number 4. This is number 4.
Yeah,
number 4. Again, you might think this is because of Jeremy, but I got Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Intense. For 2 reasons, this is cherished to me. First of all, this is the first video I did on my channel and my first Instagram post ever. The first ever piece of content put out by School Scent was a picture of this on Instagram. Very simple, and I just gave a generic description of, wow, so many compliments of this. I can't remember, and also, but I've always found it such a nice scent DNA because obviously the original has been around since the mid 2000s. I definitely get transported to my childhood. So again, going to Egypt, a lot of Middle Eastern guys love to wear fragrances. My uncle in Egypt, who I look up to very much, greatly, he always wore the original. And this is basically the original but better. It smells a bit more smooth and better performance. Salty, aquatic, musky, and a good bit of yuzu citrus in there as well. It's one of the safest summertime fragrances. It's obviously a top seller for Dolce & Gabbana. So this just transports me to my childhood, and it marks a milestone for School Scent itself.
That's a good reason to put it in the list. Yeah, I like it. Great stuff. All right. Yeah, I've never got around to buying that one or the original, but I am really, in some ways, I like weird niche stuff and old school, but I am very simple in many ways, and I just love fresh smells, and they're just so universally wearable any time of the year. I mean, that would be a great summer holiday scent, but equally well, your job or whatever, you can wear a couple of sprays to work, and it's not going to annoy anyone, but it's just clean and fresh is just such a great thing. So yeah, nice choice. Like it. Would you wear that? Because I'm sure you probably do, and I know I do, some seasonal lists, and I always say it's kind of it's a bit of bullshit, because I wear summer fragrances in January because I like to smell fresh. And you've just said you used to go back to Egypt where it's kind of hot, right? And people are wearing really heavy stuff that we'd be putting in our winter list. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, well, in fairness, in some places around the world, like in let's say in Florida and America or Egypt, you're always going to be at least 25 degrees Celsius anyways. But also, even in the UK, I'd wear Dolce & Gabbana, other summer fragrances in the wintertime, especially if you're going somewhere like work where it's climate controlled. It doesn't really matter, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I guess as the seasonal list is the fact that it puts you into a certain mood. If you're going to be outdoor all day, it can help as well. If you're going to be sweating like outdoors all day, then maybe having Spicebomb on yourself in the middle of summer, it kind of get annoying. But again, it's a cooler evening. You can still get away with most fragrances still.
Exactly. The same here. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I always say these evoke the mood of maybe a wintertime thing a little bit more, and these would make you feel great in the hot weather. But it's pretty permeable, flexible. But really, when we talk about this stuff, okay.
I think as a community, we're obviously obsessed with the small details because it's our passion. But a normal human being. And I say a normal human being because I'm trying to go abnormal. They could just wear one fragrance all year round. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah. I used to. I had no concept of it being a summer fragrance or anything till I found out about it.
No one knows like the different scenarios. This is a date night fragrance. This is a winter cold weather scent. It's just it's a community thing more than anything.
We made this stuff up, basically to give us something to make a subject for a video on.
We need something to talk about,
Hey,
we need something to talk about.
Exactly. We got to otherwise we just do 1 or 2 videos about our favorite fragrances and that'll be it. Okay, I'm going to get a bit more info. Actually, I'll grab a bit more info about you before we go into your 5th pick. Then, so actually, just I kind of am a bit interested in like the YouTube world and talking about FragCom in general. So I'm thinking that we've had the FragCom on YouTube for quite a few years now. I can go back to sort of 2015 when I got into it. It's changed quite a lot, I think. So I'm just interested in your thoughts, where you think things will go and what kind of channels might do best. Because I feel like a lot of the formats that were very, very successful at the start, maybe not, just changing a little bit what works. So obviously the top 10 and compliment lists are still kind of a good thing. But I just feel like maybe it's just getting to the point. Some of the long established channels have started, I'm not going to name any names, but maybe they're not getting as many views by just sticking to the same old formula. And then I did a video about Curly Fragrance. So I imagine you're aware of her work. Yeah. And she's got a very different style, very in your face and a little bit provocative. And that channel's really kind of grown, very rapidly. And of course, as we've mentioned, a lot of the female reviewers who do quite a lot on men's fragrances have kind of overtaken some of the big male reviewers and stuff. So things are just shifting and changing. And that's why I've gone off on some slightly odd tangents on my channel. But, and I'm quirky and weird, so I'm not going to beat any of these guys. But I've just decided, like, you've got to try and be different and do something a little bit odd or different or be different. So what do you think about that? Where do you think things are going? Do you have like a plan? Are you just going to keep going with the way you're doing it now? Or do we have, I think we have to evolve. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I do think some people spend maybe too long on individual fragrances is what I think. That the whole concept of my channel personally is being concise, which I think is where people like Jeremy became successful. That I'm inspired by Jeremy in that way, in the fact that he doesn't talk about fragrances in notes. I'm personally, other people are. I think everyone has their own style, and that's fine. I'm personally the kind of person who likes to keep things very simple. My main platform isn't YouTube, it's TikTok. We have 370,000 followers on there.
Wow, I didn't know that.
You know, yeah, TikTok is most likely helped me as well on YouTube. I'm sure there's.
Okay. I can link to TikTok in the description too, right?
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, people on TikTok. Us. Yeah,
right. I'm actually quite intrigued. If I think we've got time because we're doing good for time. So how does it work on TikTok? Because what do you do? Like a really short thing, like here's 10 fragrances for this, or how does that work? How long is a typical TikTok video that you do?
Probably no more than 20 seconds usually.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Yeah. Yeah. This is a huge.
That's the whole basis of School of Scent, and I think that's how content is heading into in general. People want to get more value for their videos. So these days I notice is when I put down a top 20 fragrances video instead of top 10, they usually get more views. But I still keep the videos relatively short. That's my whole thing, is keep things concise. You get to learn about lots of fragrances quickly, because obviously I basically make what I would want to see as when I was a viewer. Is basically there's tens of thousands of fragrances out there. How do we learn about them? I make things very concise, very accessible. I don't try to get too abstracted notes. I also make my content based on what I think people would want to see. I don't necessarily make it for myself. And that's the kind of the direction I'm going into. So I'm always trying to get community involvement. So you've seen I've done 3 parts now on YouTube reviewing people's collections. So each video is people's collections, or I ask people on Instagram, what's your number 1 most complimented fragrance? That's our most popular video, reviewing 15 of the community's number 1 most complimented fragrances, things like that. It's I basically just try to think of new ways to change up the formula a little bit, not reinvent the wheel, but get more involvement, get more value for time in videos. That's my approach. It's not necessarily, I'm not just saying it's right, but that's just what I do. And that's
really it makes sense. It's very interesting to me because I'm interested in the YouTubeography of things as well as talking about fragrances. So I don't mind going off on that subject a little bit. And I think you're right, and I know from my own experience, I kind of like to still sometimes say I'm doing a vintage fragrance review of one fragrance today, but I know jolly well that will get really poor, relatively poor views, and we're all putting the work in and the time in. And of course, it's disheartening to put all that editing in and all that, and that you're only going to get 1,000 views or 2,000 or something. So it makes sense to give people what they're interested in. Most people watching videos are not obsessed with fragrances to the extent that some of us are. So they don't want to really sit there for 10 minutes about how a fragrance develops and the jasmine comes in. Now, it's brilliant that we have some channels that do that. And good luck to them. That's absolutely fantastic. And, there's always going to be a demand for that. Maybe I'm, tiny bit more that way than you. I don't know. But, inevitably, we know that those people who are kind of very intellectual in their analysis of the fragrances, even if they're presenting them beautifully, it's not going to do as well as something that's
naturally going to be more niche. But you have to stay true to yourself at the end of the day. I can't tell people everyone copy each other, because we need variety.
That's what I'm all about. This is why I'm always, because I'm very much, although lately I've been trying to get in a few little arguments with people, but it's all just theatre. I enjoy that side of YouTube. But I'm actually, very much in favour of the thing. We've got all this diversity. So I love that we have channels like yours that are doing really well. Curly Fragrances growing very, very fast in a very entertaining way with not that much depth about fragrances, although she actually does know a lot about them. And then if we want to, we can go and watch Wafson from the Loft, and they will do much more intellectual kind of analysis of a fragrance and talk in much more depth. And I think that's what we need, the diversity. And we need bald middle-aged men like me making tacky jokes on their videos because, we're both of us save a bit of money every year on shampoo, and that's why we can afford a few more fragrances, can't we? Yeah. So we need that variety. I celebrate that, and it's very interesting to get that insight, and actually fascinating to know. So you've got 300,000 on TikTok.
370. So we're approaching 400. Hopefully, by the end of this year.
Do you think I'm very intrigued? I'm going to check it out. Should I do TikTok too? Do you think?
Yeah, I actually do encourage people to do it, because you get you can post a 20-second video and get 1 million views on it. That's very much possible on TikTok, and but you just have to be prepared to learn a new skill.
Yeah,
I've seen some fragrance. So after Jeremy Fragrance was the first person on TikTok, and he did very well. He grew up on there, as you would expect from Jeremy. I think I'm pretty much the second main person who came on there, but I was very much struggling at the beginning. I didn't realize how the style of TikTok. It's a lot more fast, in your face. The audience is younger than the Instagram audience I have is definitely older in TikToks where it's mainly going to be teenagers. So a lot of people say, oh, why are you also about beginner fragrances on TikTok? You know more about niche fragrances, like put better fragrances out there. But I say, well, this is for teenagers. This is my TikTok page. This is what they want to hear about. Essentially, I always, that's how I make my content. I don't necessarily make it for myself. People may disagree with that, but I say what will my audience want to see, and I reverse everything from there.
I'm with you. I'm with you all the way on that being a perfectly sensible way to do it. Yeah, I'm very interested to. You've definitely made me now think. Okay, maybe I really do need to look at TikTok. God knows, might be a struggle for me, but I'll look into it, and it's interesting. And I say, we can't all make the video we'd really love to make, because I'd make just 2 videos a week about the latest thing that I bought on eBay that was made in 1985. And only 200 people would watch it. So I get pleasure to some extent out of the creative process of making an entertaining video, as well as the actual fragrance. And I'm sure you do. You probably do the same, right?
Yeah, I think you need to have those personal passion videos every once in a while. Like I put out some videos out there that I know to myself, okay, this is not going to do well, but I still make it. I'm proud. I did editing really well. As well as we can, and I'm extremely proud of what's put out there. Like the video I put where why are fragrances so expensive. It's very niche. I talk about this perfumery course that Cotswolds and that John did, and
you did with our perfumer John Stephen, right?
Yeah.
I saw that. Yeah, great. Yeah, I won't go sidetrack off into that right now.
No, we can talk hours.
But that's really good for you. So you're a heavy frag head, really, more than me. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't want to know how to make the bloody things. But that's really cool. Yeah. But that's not going to drag in the same audience. But
you're still proud of it. Yeah, you're still proud of the video, and you see people still enjoy it. I think every once in a while you need to just treat yourself, I think, as well.
Yeah, you need the balance for your own sanity, I think, and it's really good to do that. But very fascinating to get a bit more insight into that side of things. And now we're going to go to fragrance number 5, please.
Oh yes, of course. Fragrance number 5 is, again, a few years more recent. It is Spicebomb Extreme. Again, well, it was brought to my attention by Jeremy as well, but that was a fragrance I discovered when I was going out with my ex at the time, and I really realized that was her favorite fragrance. She really loved that, and I started appreciating how sexy fragrances can be. It's a fragrance that always sticks to my mind when I want to smell like really sweet and want something that's attention grabbing. I think of Spicebomb Extreme. It just makes me, it just kind of shows a different side of fragrances. It doesn't have to be boring, fresh type of fragrance. You realize, fragrances can come in a wide variety of moods, and I think we in the community, take for granted this idea of having a date night fragrance, something that's oriental. Most people think, it's fragrances you wear. You put it on in the morning, you feel fresh, and that's the main thing they're there for. But I realized, wow, this is incredibly sexy. I did not realize there was different genres. It's kind of like going to the movie theaters, to the cinema, and only seeing superhero films all your life. You think, this is nice. And then realizing, wow, there's horror, there's comedies. It's like, what? That's it just sticks to my mind. I have memories with it, and so it's one of my cherished scents.
Great stuff. Yeah, I mean, definitely. I know the original Spicebomb had real love and hype around it for a while, and I being an bit of an old fogey, was just put off by the hand grenade bottle. But it is actually a very, this is a really good smell actually. So nice choice. Okay, lovely. All right, I think that's been really interesting. My aim here is always to get people off the fragrances a bit, and you've given us some brilliant insights, which I found particularly enlightening. So that was really good. Apart from you picked some quite well-known popular fragrances, I assume you've got a bit of an interest in the niche stuff as well in your personal life, right?
Oh yeah, of course. I actually had one fragrance come in today that I'm really liking.
Let's have a wild.
Have you heard of this? It's called Gravitas.
The check is in the mail. The check's in the mail. Thank you for mentioning it. No, just kidding, guys. Just kidding. Yeah, we did send you a bottle, and we sent you Bon Viveur too, didn't we? Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I have Bon Viveur just there as well.
Great. Well, I won't ask you to expand because it would be too sort of shameless plugging. But
No,
I'm really happy to send them to you. But apart from that wonderful pair of creations, I assume you do have some of the more nichey stuff in your own collection too, do you?
There's some fragrances I love in the niche world. Well, even if I include private line stuff as well, like
Tom Ford, yeah,
like Tobacco Vanilla, Oud Wood, Xerjoff's Naxos. I love Parfum de Marly stuff.
Yeah,
you love Naxos as well.
Yeah, Naxos is, of all the fragrances that are a bit more not my traditional style, a bit more gourmand, tobacco sweet. It's not really good. That is like 11 out of 10. Stunner.
Beautifully balanced. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, never fails to amaze me.
And I think there was one fragrance. I think you put me onto this fragrance as well. One of my most favorite barbershops. Is Penhaligon Sartorial. Was it you? I think you talked about it on one of your YouTube
videos. I have
videos.
done. Many others did before me, but yeah, that is a really, really good one. Yeah.
I only that was a fragrance I bought blind because I just you described it as a honey based barbershop. It sounds interesting.
Yes, yeah, they did a fun little thing with a beeswax theme or something because they took all the things. Apparently, they use beeswax, don't they, on the thread? So they took all these clever little ideas and a metallic note for the scissors, and it was very it really tells the story well, and it kind of ends up.
Are clever. They're definitely clever people. Their marketing.
Yeah, they've got it's good to have a brand identity. I like that. They've got a distinct thing, and it really works well. Yeah.
What they did was very clever. I was in the town of Bath, some people might call it in England, and I walked past their store, one of the flagship physical stores, and what they do is they actually pump out their most popular scent, Halfeti. They pump it out of their air vents. Yeah. So as you walk past, it's just a big cloud of Halfeti. And you really wonder, what is that beautiful smell? You think it's a person, but it's actually just the building itself is pumping out.
Right. Smart thinking, yeah. Yeah, we've got a little very small boutique in the nearest big shopping centre near us, and they're very good actually. The staff there really know their fragrances inside out, and they can really talk you through it. And yeah, all the new ones with the stag's heads on the bottles and all that. Cool. It's all clever. It's good. I don't know about these names about impudent cousin Matthew and all this, but they're good fragrances.
I like it. I think that they got some cool packaging ideas, and it looks more modern now than because the bow tie thing some people might see as outdated.
You're right there. Yes, that's it. They could look a little bit stuffy. So you're right. Yeah. To be fair, it's smart. It's smart work.
Mm-hmm.
Right. This is just a perfect length for the video. So thank you so much. I really felt like I've got to know you better through the video, and I'm going to check out your TikTok as well as.
Yeah, I'd love to see you on TikTok. Make sure you duet, and you can react to other people's videos and link them together.
I'll try.
You can learn the dances. They do like fun little dances on there if you want to get views.
I'm not averse to that stuff on my channel, so actually, I reckon it could seriously happen. Last thing, as you may have seen, I've challenged Jeremy to a wrestling match.
Yes.
After he insulted me by actually just saying something very true, that my thumbnails weren't as good as they should be. He said nice things about you, actually, didn't he, in that video?
Well, yeah, I think. Well. Yeah, he said I was different, which can be taken in whatever way you want.
No, he was definitely more.
Yeah, I took it too constructively. Yeah,
no, he was definitely positive. But anyway, who would you be betting on in the wrestling match, me or him? Just to end on.
I think it would be you, sir. I think I know you've been training for this, and I think you got the skills for it. So I think you can definitely win.
Thank you. I reckon I can. I'll pin him with a triple suplex or whatever they call it, and it'll be. Yeah, I can take him anytime I want. Thanks for the backing. I'm going to leave it there. It's been great to meet you and get to talk to you. Links in the description for all the many different places where you can find out more about the School of Scent. And we will see you in the next one, guys. Remember, whatever you're doing in life, let's project and remember. Sometimes life may stink, but we can always smell good. Bye bye.
Bon Viveur, le nouveau parfum pour un par Norton et Wilson. Parce que la vie est faite pour être appréciée.